Hi guys, it's Gary here at StarksWarehouse.com. Just want to start off by apologising for the lack in video updates recently. I've not really been busy, I've just been quite lazy to be honest with you. Once I finished this last time, I kind of left it and kind of forgot about it. It got put to the back of my mind. So before I start, I can tell you before I even open this plaster shell that the sculpt will be ruined, because I sculpted this in wet clay, and wet clay does dry out. You have to keep it moist. As you can see, there's a part here that fell off the bottom, and it's very, very brittle. It just breaks away completely. So that's what the whole of the helmet is going to look like once I take this off. To be honest with you, I don't know if this is cheap. Not very good plaster bandage, but it didn't. I put a few layers on, but it hasn't really keeping its shape or molded to it very well. I did pull this off earlier, and it's not really done well for a mold at all. So I'm not happy with it, and because the whole helmet is completely ruined now, as you can see, there's a massive crack all the way down the side of it. I haven't actually seen this yet. This is the first time I've seen it, so all that hard work is, as you can see, it's completely solid as well. So all that hard work has been ruined, but the wet clay is cheap, and I always put it to myself as learning experience. As you can see, the inside, I don't know if you can see this very well here, the inside of that hasn't really taken to it. It's still really soft inside, so I can't even mold from that either, which sucks, because this is, like I say, it's completely all ruined, and I'll have to do it again. But next time I will be using NSP, Chavant NSP, which is a oil-based clay. So I can work on it as long as I want, and it won't dry out. I'll just try and prise this plaster bandage off to see what the rest of the helmet looks like. I did try making another mould of my head last night in plaster bandage with a little help from a friend, but like I said, this plaster bandage must be really cheap. I mean, it was cheap enough to buy, but I mean the actual quality of it must not be very good at all, because I couldn't even make a decent mould of my head from the plaster bandage. So at one point, so I'm just going to reuse the plaster head that I already made, which is underneath this, if it's any good. And in the future, when I get the money and somebody that knows how to work with alginate, I might try and see if somebody can make an alginate mould of my head, which will in the long term give me a better head cast to work on for future things, or for body casts of any sort. But like you see, there we go, at least the head cast seems still fine. I can rework on that, but all of the clay that is falling off is completely and utterly ruined. That's another thing with wet clay. You have to work pretty fast with it, as with any water-based clays, really. I mean, you can keep wet clay dry, moist, but you have to keep spraying it every day to keep it moist. So I think for next time, when I make my next helmet, what I'm gonna do, I have videos from Stan Winston's School of Character Arts, which you can find online. Let's go to stanwinstonsschool.com, and there's videos that you can purchase, either download streams or DVDs on there. And there's a nice video that I've bought, which is about how to make stone moulds. And I think I'm going to go that way next time. Rather than using the plaster bandage, just actually use just straight plaster and make thick stone moulds. Then obviously once I've cast from them, I can clean up the casted parts from any imperfections, and then once it's completely how I want it, and then I can make the silicone moulds, rather than wasting silicone to cast the first one from the first helmet from the clay, then clean it up and using even more silicone to cast it again. You're going to use twice as much silicone, so I'm going to go ahead of that route. So if you're looking at making stone moulds, I highly recommend the Stan Winston's School of Character Arts video on making stone moulds. Like, here we go. So now, like as I said, this can all peel off. Now, the reason that I wanted to make another head cast on myself last night was because this plaster head cast that I made, obviously it's made of stone, so it is pretty heavy. Now it's dried out a little bit, it's not as heavy as it was before, but I wanted to make a new cast so that I could do it all in fiberglass and make a fiberglass head. But like I say, it has dried up a hell of a lot now, so I think this is going to be pretty fine for doing it. I did want to make it a little bit longer as well, because of the neck. I wanted to actually make a new head cast and take it all the way down to the shoulders, to add shoulders and the full neck. But I guess just for making the helmet just comes up to below the shin, so I think I might just screw this to a plank of wood so it can sit straight, and then we should be able to do it. I need to measure the whole head, because I think the head is a little bit out of proportion, like where the neck goes around the back and things like that. But other than that, it's not too bad. Like I say, hopefully in the future I can make an alginate mould and get a proper head cast done. But for now, this will do. So I think later on today I'm going to start on adding the Chavant clay to this, and start sculpting a helmet once again in Chavant clay, and that'll give me enough time to leave it for a week if need be, and then come back to it a week later, and it won't have dried out like this has. So yeah, once I recommend getting oil-based clay, Chavant. I'm going to use NSP medium. We'll see how that works out. So if you are a beginner, I would recommend getting oil-based because it gives you a longer time to work with, rather than any water-based clays which need to be a faster worker. But for now, thank you guys for watching. When I start making the new sculpt, I will put a video up. I might put a time lapse up of adding the clay and sculpting and things like that also. So keep an eye and look out for that. Please, if you're not already, visit my Facebook page. Search for Stark's Warehouse. I'll put a link in the description below as well. I'll keep you up to date with any news. That'll be the first place to look for any news on my projects and anything else. So please go to my Facebook page, like the page, and if you haven't already, like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And thank you again for watching. I hope it's been useful. I hope these videos are useful to some of you guys out there. So I'll be back up soon with a new sculpt. So thank you guys. I'll see you soon.